very hard game for 423 to try to scale up here. No, please not the Ringmaster, please. To be fair, it fits him.
Yeah, I suppose he's kind of vibing out right now. Taunting his way to the lane. He's looking kind of clean. For people who are just tuning in and have never seen a Ringmaster game, potentially I'm not going to include myself in that discussion. Hint, hint, maybe it is. Where does this hero fit best? What is his playstyle? Like, give us a kind of a rundown. I know you said before, like, yeah, this hero is kind of strong as crap, but we actually may even need to hold that thought. Oh, God.
Great. No need. You got the pause. Ovid's out. And now we can talk about this Ringmaster. I hate this hero. I think I can... It is a very annoying support to play up against, as he does get the instant reconnect, but it's interesting that his facets affect all of his souvenirs, so you're not really changing here too much between what you choose, and it looks like we are getting pretty much the standard Ringmaster from launch. So you have the tonic, which makes you... which increases an allied hero's strength, plus his by 5 plus 1 per Ringmaster's levels for 8 seconds. A little bit of a pseudo Tumbler's Toy with Whoopee Cushion, Funhouse Mirror, which is just an illusion rune, almost like, although. Poke, checking for the wards. But yeah, I'm going to be super curious about how Jabs kind of prioritizes here, because Impalement Arts is probably the worst bit of his kit. Like, it's the most annoying part, along with Escape Act. Like, having this sort of save coming out, just breaking off any sort of aggression you're trying to pump in here from Tundra is going to be annoying. And the poke Jabs potentially has with this Impalement Arts is kind of nuts. It's also surprising that they aren't gunning to be defensive on their own rune. It will still be a 2 for 2, but everyone's looking to play offense, trying to utilize perhaps that little river rundown that you would have an advantage on the opposing side.
This is crazy.
Running in.
The map looks so crazy. What the?
Oh yeah.
Holy.
Oh yeah, dude. We flooded in, Ares. We're flooded up. You know, we didn't have the preparedness to drain out the water, so we've lost. Our map's just wet. You know, it's pretty cool. I feel like it would look really cool if the map cosmetics kind of worked out with it well. That's something to test down the line. Still, something we don't really need to test here. We are taking a gander down bot. 33 just going for the usual beast mode, Beastmaster, getting some good application onto 423 early on. This is a double melee lane into an Undying, so Ollie should be feeling pretty damn good. But Soxa is spacing himself away from the Beastmaster at the least, so not giving double decay stacks out does kind of hinder all these early presence, but this should still be a pretty fine lane for 423. He did go Lancelot. He does have that extra bit of damage coming out with the Spirit Lance. It does not quite work with the Ags, unfortunately, so the bounces don't really benefit from it, but it is still a lot of output once you have the illusion stacking up. The issue is, can you actually leave those illusions up and running in this game? We'll have to see down the line, but for now, in the lane at the very least, it's being managed well enough for 423.
Sure. How's our other side lane looking at the moment as well? We have seen previously inside the lanes, the Dragon Knight has been an exceptional hero to play into the Timbersaw. That was often in mid lane where you would expect like the Timber to be able to actually beat the DK just because of the strength, but it really didn't work out like that. And I've still seen the side lane DKs do very good versus the Timber. Now, with that being said, new patch, not sure what differences we're going to get, and mainly also how the Ringmaster now influences this lane in particular.
Yeah, I mean, the Ringmaster does have decent poke, magical damage with percent-based HP damage coming in. You do get that Impalement Parts at level 2 here for Jabs. Duracho and Whitemon have made this lane pretty hellish, though. For JT, there's a ton of magic damage coming in from Tundra. Just a read fire, just a casual right clicks out from Whitemon, having both Liquid Fire and Liquid Frost on hand. For Jakiro now is mental, to say the least. He also has this facet with the Icebreakers. He has the Ice Path that can break up to get another stun going and is just a little bit more annoying to play into, which is kind of cool to see down the line once you do start to get the points in. And overall, that's making this a relatively challenging lane for JT, right? Every time he walks up, he gets Breed Fire. He gets copped with 2 hits from Whitemon. Half his HP starts melting away. There's not too much Jabs can really do to stop that. He can try for Pulse, but it doesn't feel like the Ringmaster is really the most comfy in that. He does have decent move speed to try it. but not even an attempt there. And just letting go of the Lotus at tree. Whitemon will manage to just pick it up as a little bit of a block was coming in here for jabs. So again, you just have all the resources pouring out. This top lane for Duracho going extra smooth into the Timp. Maybe by level 3 you see a little bit more of a threat from jabs. Level 2 Whirling Death with a value point in the Timber Chain. Things can start to balance out there if he decides to skill that way on JT.
Yeah, what is the more traditional skill build that we get out of the Ringmaster?
I do believe it tends to be a maxing of Tame the Beast. Like, you do just get the value point in Impalement, but it's such a good value point. It's again, probably one of the most annoying things of this hero, as they are dropping JT very low again with all of that poke. Again, this buff on Jakiro almost feels uncalled for, but the hero hasn't been too popular, so I guess he needed it. But man, his right click damage is just stupid in lane. Look at that.
Yep.
Look at that.
They're gonna go in on this actually. JT trying to put some pressure onto Whitemon, but be able to get anything out of it. Bottom lane. Tombstone kill was there for 33 in Starkster as well, so a bit of an attempt to try and put some pressure on from Oli, or maybe securing the lane. We got one up top though. Jab's able to find it. Duracho trying to strike back, running down the Ringmasters. Another Dragon Tail in a couple of seconds, but Jabs is fine. Oh, is he fine? Wait, Duracho? This is a T1 tower, okay. Looks like he's going to be able to get it. The fact that JT was dragging the waves, so the Timber wasn't there to act as a bodyguard to keep Jabs alive.
Yeah. That's kind of crazy. He did see the early whoopee cushion being committed, as they will also clean up Ollie down bot. I'm a little bit surprised bot lane's as challenging as it is, but again, the positioning coming out from Tundra, they're playing pretty much two fronts, right? 33 is taking care of 423, Soxa takes care of Ollie. They are starting to bully this guy out now.
They are indeed. He's going to need some assistance. He's going to come through fast enough, though. Jabs will do his best, but it doesn't matter. 33 finds another kill, and they might be able to continue the fight. They're bringing the battle to Jabs, who TP down and gives another kill over 33's Beastmaster. Doesn't matter what patch it is. He is finding kill after kill. Enough mana here for another round of the axes. Does have a massive creep wave that is going to be tanking. So we'll have to think twice on what the decision's going to be, and it looks to try and scurry away.
Just makes it out. Really kind of crazy that they commit that much on the side of Moodeng Warriors to try to course correct there, right? Like, they don't respect the output, the early durability from 33 here, and just this lack of presence from a slower laning start for Ollie and 423. It's just a little bit too much. So we haven't really looked at the mid. We are seeing a little bit of a chase out from BZM. Avid will at least snag away the bottle instead of BZM getting that last click off. And this mid lane has been probably the most even lane coming out here for Mudang, drawing even in terms of output and CS. Again, you're just going for a standard build-up on Abed. Level 1 Empower, you still get the benefits from Eternal Empowerment, with a little bit of that max stack coming into play to help you flash farm with a value point at very least. But beyond that, all the lanes have been pretty rough. Jabs again just facing the punishment of Jakiro now. It's painful, man.
Yeah. But it is indeed. I do want to quickly mention that Abed cancelled the TP from BZM before we saw that power, and so BZM has to run all the way back to base instead of TPing back and then running in. It's a little bit of time out of the lane, which will assist, but of course, importantly, you have the Shrine of Wisdom's activating in a couple of seconds. We're going to get a bit of a fight by the looks of it, but Aurora with the scanner already set up. Abed's going to try and skew behind, gets the connection with the RP. Sucks, and that is an ambitious use of the rebound, and he will just put himself on a silver platter at Mudang. They get some much needed kills here at top.
Oh yeah, that... I mean, they did not expect that commitment to come out from Abed, and they were stuck in such a tight corner. Remember, you are still playing DK into Timbersaw. That Whirling Death, that Timber Chain is still pure damage and it's still going to rip right through you. Great line of action there from the side of the Moodeng Warriors. That does give a little bit of reset out. JT's not the healthiest. He does have some stick charges on, not really enough to give him enough mana to start to play poke and prod. But you do even out the game. All of those kills evening out just a little bit on mid.
Soxa's in a lot of trouble. They're going to try and deal with the Tombstone. I don't think the Master will live to tell the tale, unfortunately. And yeah, that's not going to be the case. BZM also has to use pretty much all of his resources to get away. At bottom?
Again,
4-2-3 is getting invaded. Duracho and Whitemon coming through the portal. Let's see if they're going to be able to find the real Phantom. That's a nice juke, but it's not going to matter in the end, I don't think. They've got the movement speed with the river. Duracho should be able to chase him down. We still... 33 still thought he guessed correctly. Roared over the left side, but... it's not a big deal.
no. Hey, you got to make sure, right? Maybe it's just maybe it's a really good juke. Maybe they don't have enough damage. You want to be sure. Take care of it. It's not the longest cooldown in the world anyhow. You've got a lot of room to start shoving down bot now. And again, a very equal footing coming out. In terms of farm, it does still feel a lot better for Tundra, considering how well their lanes are coming out. But you are finding some opportunities for yourself here on the side of Mudang Warriors. And that's mainly building off of, again, the most even lane you've gotten from Abed. He managed to deliver with a good rotation into the Shrine of Wisdom. He's got RP coming off cooldown now as well, and he is rushing into the blink before the Echo Saber. So he is looking to rectify that lack of control for the team. He'll be the one to start to set things up. The side of Tundra are starting to dig a little bit further back. Again, they're keeping constant track of 4-2-3. Not the comfiest of times for this PL. Bottom network core, behind by a significant margin in comparison to the other cores here from the side of Tundra. It's going to be a slow process for 4-2-3 to catch up to that point. But I'm interested in this build. He's rushing for that Revenant's Brooch.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool. That item was completely reworked, which means you have no way of hitting anyone that's decrapped up as they're chasing Ollie.
Easy kill. Just level 8. Jesus, same level as the mid laners. This is going to be quite a fast timing out of the step. The top lane, Duracho, is by himself, and the nuke from these two heroes showcasing at the early stage.
Yeah, you've got to show some respect for that. Now, again, I like the way Jabs went. He actually went for Impalement Arts priority over Tame the Beasts, and it is the more consistent damage source, right? Like, you get to keep more charges, 4.5% HP burn is nothing to be scoffed at, and it's just extremely spammable. We'll try to get some counterplay here, though, but it doesn't look like BZM wants to fully commit. And you are starting to get some responses out to open up the map a little bit more. With all of that attention focused top, 4-2-3's just a little bit freer down bot, despite losing his tier 1 tower early. We'll try for a smoke play out here on the side of Moodeng Warriors. They did pop that Flesh Golem rather early, so it's not going to last too long, but they do have the Wheel of Wonder ready.
And they should be able to, by the looks of it. Abed, nice location of the skewer. Back-to-back deaths here for the carry from Tundra. Nice movement, Aurora. Keeping steady, and maybe this gives us a moment as well to look at some of the neutral items. We've had a lot of stuff going on. 15 kills at this stage of the game. How do you feel about the RPG changes that we have?
I think it's pretty cool. I find it fun because you're almost always guaranteed to have something you like, right? Like maybe you don't get something great in your actual artifact, but the effect or your stats for it are pretty good, so you're happy enough. You find an artifact that can still provide you with something. I feel like it's a great way of removing the RNG aspect of it just a tad bit, allowing a lot more of fairness where you know, you don't feel like you're completely shafted away. 5 shovels is still probably the best way to go, but again, you're very happy with how all of this works. It's just it's kind of cool. As the smoke is, they've got RP ready, they've got that blink set. A big kill if they could find 33 somehow through the smoke.
Nasty one, 33. Top net worth by a long shot. Farming up the Ancients as well down to the south. It looks like he... Oh, no way. Is he actually...
Wow.
So close to running up the high gun.
Duracho, though.
So apparently, let's just pick out Duracho by the looks of it. Nice time with the Dragon Tail, actually. Slow reaction out of Abed. Couple of TP's going to come through. They won't be too quick to be able to bring him down before the response, but BZM, Arcane Rune given over to the Ember. What are you really going to be able to do with him? They try and drop the wheel from Jabs, making it a little bit difficult for them to now secure the area to take the fight, as JT is good for 2.
Oh, man, and that Marcy just got deleted from that burst. And JT's at the point where he's pumping a ton of damage out, and that's him without the full Kaya even up yet in that engagement. Now it's up post-fight. So that process becomes a lot simpler here for the side of Mudang Warriors. A 10-7 start. Honestly, not what I'd expect coming in here. I felt like Tundra would have the reins in this game, that they'd kind of get this ball going much quicker. You know, you'd have a smoother time coming out there for Duracho, but he's gotten the short end of the stick. 33 does have his full ags up, so the drums to slalom are banging away. And again, it gets a little bit easier to manage. As that PL, even the magic damage onto JT is going to be good. JT himself clearing out some stacks with his Chakrams flying around. He's going to be able to get that gold injection into the Glimmer Cape, which surprisingly enough wasn't really touched in this patch. So yeah, for what it's worth, I mean, that development was a lot more recent, but it is, again, one of those things that maybe we'll see in a sub patch. We'll see that touched in a sub patch for sure, probably.
I don't know how you feel, but I've still got some concerns even over like Moodeng having a very good early game. I don't know about this PL. You are so heavily countered by multiple heroes on Tundra, and you've had a rough game, and you are really struggling to farm. I don't know what they're going to be able to do across the map. And once again, we've got the early roast going on from Tundra as well. This scepter has not changed from 33, so and let's see who they give the ages over to, if it's BZM or the Bees.
Does look like 33 will just take it for himself. He's left alone in that area, and he'll find it. Nice quick Roche, 14 minutes in. They will lose Whitemon for that, but again, not a big deal though.
Wow, 33. Okay. Might lose the ages pretty early on though. They're happy with that. They are incredibly happy, and maybe actually been wanting to try and take the team fight. Arbit's ready with the RP. Nice timing, but still clumps them up with the side step over to the left side, and now Arbit missing. Will give an opportunity to the TPs. They'll respect Duracho. You also have BZM starting to move over as well.
Yeah, this at the lag timing, not quite what you'd want. Might give some time for a Tundra to reconsider. Arbit still has an angle in.
I thought Duracho was going to go for the tomb. Find the angle though on Arbit. BZM shows for a second. The rest of the team's actually look at a portal away, so they're going to the other side, and there is this observer set up as well, so Radiant will be aware, but it looks like they're not really able to do that much with the information. Oh, because we have the Tormentor, okay.
Yeah. Again, even if they're on Dire side, 200 still manages to get it. It just feels like this is just slightly Radiant favored. If you still had your tier 1, you know, taking the Tormentor would have been nice, considering all of that gold. Like, look at that, a 3k lead coming out for Tundra off of that Roshan and the Tormentor. It's just way too much now coming in. It is something you have to contest. It isn't something you can give away for free, but or just, again, falling a little bit short, not finding the angle in. Although maybe no. Arbit tried.
What is it built for? Is this Mage Slayer? Is the Cornucopia? Yeah, okay, it looks like it is. Now it gets delivered on the Courier. The rest of the team considering about starting to move over off the back of getting the Tormentor. They are smoked up. Just a little bit indecisive on where they actually want to go. Potentially thinking about going for 4-2-3 or combining with BZM, who currently is running Jabs and Oli down.
Got a good smoke angle here with a fresh blink in 3-3. If they could find an angle in, Abed would be a very juicy kill. Not too hard to find either if they fully commit here.
This is what can Jabs do as a response to it. One point in the escape axe, so a very long cooldown. If they went then, not have had really a great way to be able to protect Abed, but they're just going to play behind BZM, get the tower, open up the map a little bit.
Yeah, playing it safe. I mean, again, you've got so many ways to counteract this PL. It's still a rough road for 4-2-3. Still bottom that word core. He does have that full Revenant's Brooch up, so he's got some of that spell lifesteal on. He's got the critical on hand for some bonus magic damage coming through. That can be kind of cool, I suppose. Whether or not it's enough, it certainly doesn't feel like it at this point.
No, I don't think it's enough. 4-2-3. They're going to be able to find him farming down inside the river. And Duracho and Sarks will make quick work of the PL.
Yeah, and you're seeing why the DK is pretty sick up against that PL. Even though you don't have that splash damage, you do have AoE Dragon Tail. And well, it still makes it a simple prospect in softening up and finding the real one. And getting some good control out. 11-9, 5k lead coming out for Tundra. And it's like what you were asking a while ago, Aries. It's The biggest weakness for the side of Mudang is that Phantom Lancer so far. 4-3-3 is just not really having an impact in the game. The only place that has been coming out from Moodeng has been from JT and from Abed. Mind you, Abed can scale to an extent, but it's a lot of pressure to put onto one guy to try to make up for your +1 not really having a game. He does have his Echo Saber up and running at the least, and higher levels than Empowers, so there's a little bit more damage coming out. Mind you, again, with Eternal Empowerment, there's a lot of damage that can come in just from twacking twice with the Echo Saber, but whether or not you can burst them again without the follow-through from, say, a Phantom Lancer, a little bit trickier. You're still very reliant on JT taking these fights near some good tree lines, and that's not always going to happen, but it does feel a little bit more forested on this new map at least.
I'm hearing a roar. Abed, solo killed by 33.
It's like that. A little bit of a magic
Like
trick.
that, and jabs out front of the base as well. BZM with a double damage rune. What's going to stop them? Nice Ice Path connection. An easy kill onto Ollie. A Tombstone going to be farmed as well as Tundra. They are rolling 7,000 lead and climbing quickly.
I mean, you have to be really concerned right now on the side of Mudang Warriors. You're 7k behind at 19 minutes in. It's a significant lead coming out for Tundra very early on. And the first Aegis maybe didn't matter too much for 33, but it's just been a snowball effect since then. It just doesn't feel like you have that momentum on the side of Mudang Warriors. You're trying to work your way into the Ags of JT. You want that spell immunity or debuff immunity here for Abed, with a BKB being rushed out as well. But the main issue is just you have no core to play with. Like, the Rocher's super confident now to join his team in these fights, just with the Armlet and the MOM along with a casual Yasha. More than enough for the DK. He's got some good stats to play with, good HP still on hand. And the PL's just a sitting duck right now. Like, yeah, Revenant's Breach is cool. Yasha and Tamanta's gonna make up for some of that squishiness just a tad bit, but not fully yet. And it's gonna take a long time for your PL to finally have a game up against his counters, which is just never gonna be smooth anyhow.
Yeah, and what happened to Abed's farm as well? I don't know if he was just trying to gank a little bit too much instead of farming, but his net worth is quite low than what I was expecting, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, they did waste a lot of time running around the map. I think he's been getting a little bit less emphasis. It's JT that's really just getting free lanes for himself, right? He was hanging top for a long time. He's been taking this free farm down bot. The jungle space was surrendered at 2-4-3, and he is taking it, even though it's a little bit of a slower process for a Phantom Lancer at the moment. So that does mean Abed's just taking a little bit of a step back, and it doesn't help getting picked off like that as well, with floating gold on hand, just trying to wait for some deeper pockets to buy out the more expensive stuff first. Already targeting 43 again, although Whitemon,
But given a kill over. BZM even thinking about trying to step in, but he didn't have anyone else. Under will bleed a kill, but it's not the biggest deal. See what they're getting across the map. Continue with the shove, and bottom is beating onto the T3 tower. So Mudang are losing a lot on the map currently. No one really farming mid as well. For me, I'm looking at JT. I mean, this guy, for me, I feel like has to be the X factor. Him, I know we've mentioned Abed a couple of times, but JT is incredibly farmed. We've seen his damage has been really important for Mudang through the early kills, but maybe with the Scepter, we can see him play a little bit more aggressively across the map.
Yeah, and that's definitely something that has to kick in. They've got to find a way to be able to play more confidently up front and just relieve some of that pressure on Abed. And again, he's the main source of damage. It's not going to be Abed, it's not going to be 4-2-3 for some time. It is this Timber Saw and the Whirling Death and the Chakram that is just going to try to melt these heroes apart from the side of Tundra. A little bit of a smoke out from Tundra. Fresh BKB already on hand for 2-2-3. He's formed up like a maniac in this game. So has Deracha after a little bit of a slower laning start. One big pick-off here could start to get you knocking onto the high ground with all of these tools available here.
JT. Let's see the TP's come out, but I think they're going to be a little bit too late with a nuke from 33. Jabs will do his best, but it doesn't matter. Does still end up going down. Abed, does he want to go for the skewer play? 33. Looks like he's going to be too strong. Abed will not go for that attempt. They're probably lacking the damage without the Timber, and PL still not in fighting shape.
No. I think that's a fair call. It's just a little bit too hard. You're not able to really connect these Wheel of Wonders as well. The fear hasn't been long enough from jabs. So you're not really getting like easy setup or easy follow through damage in that case. They'll find another free tier 2 here on the side of Tundra. 11k up at 22 minutes. Again, I guess the silver lining for the side of Mudang is that they've evened out the kill board nicely. They've managed this game well enough with some of the openings they've been given, but it's just not enough to equalize the game just yet. Again, just so much more time for 43. Like, he's just going back for his own Glimmer Cape now, mitigating some of that magic damage, try to weave in and out of these fights. Has that Manta, a few more illusions to play with Lancelot.
Oh, they know.
Although...
Oh, they know. 4-2-3. Fourth death added to the tally now. This PL picks kind of later in the second phase, but we see the response from Tundra and the gameplay has been perfect to address it.
It has been. Again, it's... Even in the lane, just been a little bit slow. Jab's getting poked out.
Didn't even notice busy meta radiance. Not up to the high gun, but without the stuns, Abed not really be able to hope for an RP. It's a difficult attempt when there's always the opportunity to slide dodge, and BZM continuing to play with his food.
Yeah. I mean, this Radiance is going to ruin 423's game. Not that he has the game anyhow, but now he has to worry about the mischance as well. You have no easy answers in the PL still. And even if you were trying to farm yourself into the point where, say, a Bloodthorn comes in, you're still a ways off from that. Like, there's just no farm to be had. Mudang are just losing map space, just having to hug the tower, just trying to look for opportunities on single targets. But Tundra, for the most part, really hasn't started to splinter apart. Playing it safe, they've got a full BKB on Soxa, so the supports are starting to get wealthy as well. Soxa's nipping at the heels of 423, just about 3,000 gold behind, which is not a net worth differential you want to see as a core at 24 minutes in comparison to a support. Smoke out from Mudang.
Inside the river. Is this really the target you want to go for, though? Duracho's got the BKB, he can activate it and does so early on and looks to turn onto Jabs. Protected with the Scepter at the moment, Jabs is going to be okay. 100 will back safely over towards the high ground where they can reposition and actually take a team fight if they want to. Waimon will even drop a ward as well, but it looks like everyone else is a little bit hesitant. Maybe they feel like with the BKB used on Duracho, there could be an opportunity for the boys on Moodeng, and they feel like that's the case. They're going to smoke again. Nice.
Tormentor's being taken. Both back off from the back of those scans. This is something that you cannot afford to lose on the side of Mudang. This could be your ticket back. It's a good gold swing. Again, a good position. Just maybe an awkward way to pop the smoke.
In the BZM. Oh, but he has to go huge. Needs a multi-man RP. 33 might be able to find him in the tree line as well. Arbed needs to be so cautious. 33 jumps. There's the box save at the last second. Arbed will try and do his best, but the RP's it's just not good enough. They needed more at this stage of the game, and he wasn't able to pull through. And Radiant, they're going to be cleaned up to the front of the Tormentor. They can now go for the objective afterwards on Tundra. It's about to be a full 5-man wipe. They'll lose a couple of heroes, but it's not really a big concern for the boys on Dire.
You don't even find a couple of the kills you were gunning for here on the side of Mudang. The Racho ends up falling to the Tormentor. At least Abed dies to the Tormentor as well. They did buff up the damage on this damn thing. So it can be a little bit awkward to take the fight there. But a full wipe coming out for Mudang. We're in favor of Tundra. Overall, I mean, again, you're in just a happy game state. Abed was super patient, only really RPs one, and the follow-through is just not there. With the BKBs already being up, you're mitigating, you're basically blocking off all of this damage that JT is trying to apply for the team. You did have a good high ground position, but JT walks up to the Watcher to take that vision control away, even though they were on the high ground anyhow, and just loses that smoke advantage. So Tundra get the positional advantage in the end, as they're looking for stragglers. Survivors here.
Back live. Tombstone lay it down, and actually Moodeng feel confident enough to take the team fight. An early BKB from Duracho. 423 is vulnerable, but they're going to be able to deal with the illusions. They are starting to push them back as JT is going to get on top of Sarkster as well, but that's where 33 looks to pounce on his opportunity.
Oh my god.
Whitemon layers the stunlock as well. Abed's RP is still on cooldown, and 423 is just not doing enough with the Phantom Lancer. They'll get the Jakiro. Abed will attempt to try and TP out, an ambitious one at that. Tundra will surround him. There was no way he's going to make it out. I mean, what jabs will be caught as well. BZM was playing with an arcane rune on the Ember. 3-0 and 8 he is spell casting and playing incredibly well inside the fights.
They all are on Tundra, right? Like the way they're chaining these stunts off of each other, maximizing that control every single time. It just doesn't feel like you have a game to play here on the side of Moodeng Warriors. All you have to play with is RP. You called it out in the draft area, Aries. Lack of control abounds for the side of Moodeng. And there's just no easy course correction for that. They have a couple of saves that can come in, sure. Like, you know, they've got this escape act that can be kind of clutch. It hasn't really felt that way in this match, at the very least, just yet. They lose another Roshan to Tundra. Nice and simple take. Secondary life now for Dyrachyo, as he is working his way into his full Mjolnir and should be set to fly that out once the Hyperstone is farmed up. You've got the refresh coming in here for 33 next. Already has the Nullifier on hand. So there really just is no escape. Even that escape deck is just gone, as it is dispellable, which I take satisfaction in, but for Moodeng, it's not going to be very satisfying for them to have to deal with this network disadvantage. They catch out one again.
Emo 33 might solo kill JT over to the far west side. JT will be able to step the TP out as 33 already used Roar and BZM wasn't there in time.
And you're just trying to save yourself some time here in Moodeng. For what? I'm not sure. Because we're just getting a bog standard PL now, right? Like we're getting the heart out for 423. Again, there's some good damage that can come out with Lancelot. It just doesn't feel like it's going to be enough. Like you're playing into DK, you're playing to Beastmaster, you have this Ember who's just going to dodge in and out. Again, it still feels like this game is on JT and Abed to get things done, and it's just way too much coverage they have to get done by themselves and just not even consider what 423 can do. Like, the best you can hope for is prolonged fight with a lot of Spirit Lances flying out, but even that hasn't really come out here for the PL. Not at all.
I feel like there's a lot of neutral items. It's probably hard to pinpoint or like look through every single one in particular, but like when you saw the patch, and was there some that you were excited to see experimented with?
Yeah, I think there's some pretty interesting stuff on the later tiers. I'm trying to remember. There was just so much that just kind of locked out of my brain. I think I really like, there's a tier 3, the one that gives a barrier. Let me quickly check. It's there was one. I always pick it up. It's the, what's it called? The tier 3.
I don't know.
Hang on. There's time. The Gale Guard. I think is the Gale Guard's like lit. And there's a tier 1 as well that gives some regen. It's not a massive amount, the Polywog charm, but it's also pretty cool. Yep. Increased HP regen by 8 for 10 seconds. In water, you move 10% faster. It's kind of neat. You know, it's a lot of durability stuff in the neutrals that has taken my fancy here just a tad bit. JT?
What? I can't tell what is a high ground and what isn't a high ground. I mean, well, maybe inside the base, you have Dyrachyo. We're going to try and put the pressure on. 423 is going to be fine. Oh, apparently he's not going to be fine. Doesn't get the doppelganger away, and 33 will make sure he uses that slight mistake that was there from the PL to his advantage.
Again, they still have this banner up nice and healthy. No one's really ranged that can poke unless you put jabs in the firing line. BZM amp damage just dancing around. He has nothing to be scared off in this Ember. Like, all you can hope for is maybe you catch him out with an RP from Abed, but that's not easy to do. Dyrachyo just wants to reset as well, or just wants to bait them in as they jump in.
JT not really able to play around with the scepter thanks to the nullifier from 33. Refresher used as well. Now they do somehow also get the Ember inside the fountain, so you will lose BZM. They're going to try and TP out a mount of defense. Meanwhile, Dyrachyo is running interference with the Aegis still in hand. He is just splashing down some of the members. They will utilize their buybacks, but BZM has one of his own as well. You killed him the once. Good luck doing it a second time. And with the G's getting dropped, unfortunately for Mudang, that will secure a position where they are eliminated. Not the placement they were hoping for. Unfortunately, condolences to them, and I believe...
And you win out that way? You just economically win because they can't regen back up? Could just be win lane, win game kind of mindset here for 33, which is fair enough. For the side of Moodeng Warriors, again, this is not the strangest draft. It's certainly a lot more creative from the side of Tundra with the support Slark with a Dark Reef Renegade for Soxa. So I'm keen on seeing what you can do. Look, support Slark is kind of crazy considering that you do just reset for free very easily. So that is the one thing I'd like to see here from him. Just poke prod, push himself to the limit, come back, reset a little bit, and just go again. Constantly in and out, winning the regen war, which kind of plays into the necrotic webs. Because they can't do the same. They can't regen up when you're reducing it by a huge amount here.
What do we make of the... Okay, we're just spamming middle is missing apparently.
JT, stop. Stop.
Really?
Why do we hear it?
Is it coming through on the PGM? That's just so annoying. I'm just constantly hearing. Oh, and I know JT is one of those guys that's playing mag and just spams RP. Like, it's just...
Oh, yeah, he is. He is that type of fella.
Oh, JT.
He's a maniac. He stopped at least. He stopped now. So that is something. We are blessed.
John, I know you patch, but I can break it down pretty easily. 4 bounties is GG. It doesn't matter what changes you make.
Oh, yeah. You call it right now. There's no two ways about that. Moodeng Warriors, you have lost the Rune War. You did dodge the hook a while ago. That's nice, but not nice enough. Looking at that mid lane, you got BZM on that Arc Warden with the power capture. With those bonus attributes, every time he picks up a power rune, it's going to be nice and juicy for BZM. And this is basically old Arc Warden again. So they do manage to get that hook this time. They will kill off the voice line spammer.
Yes, get rid of him. Why one? Trying to get in front of jabs for the body blocks. And now with the hook from Duracho. Okay, we've been practicing Pudge or something. What is going on? He's ready for this moment. He was waiting for the Pudge buff.
Yeah. And it's looking good. I mean, he didn't even have rot, so he didn't have that bonus right click damage. I'm keen on seeing Duracho's build, because I do feel like because of this emphasis on having to leave rot on, he's probably the only carrier of Eternal Shroud. That makes sense, because that's one thing that will just constantly save you. So maybe the way to go for Duracho, heck, maybe he's just happy enough with a Glimmer Cape. Who knows? As that item, again, is still in a relatively good spot. We'll see.
So... Pure went Phase Boot, Scepter, Sandin Yasha, BKB, Blink into AC.
Okay. You didn't care too much.
You got Gale Guard, which is maybe something else to look at, right? With the absorption, maybe it works against rot. I'm not sure.
Oh, yeah, that's true, yeah. That is fair. That could be one way to kind of mitigate it and just bypass any sort of reduction. We'll see down the line. Duracho just going for the double bracers, already up, nice and healthy here on the Pudge. Mid lane for BZM, outside of those early pokes. He is getting poked back by Orbit quite nicely.
We're gonna have some kills everywhere. Looks like we will have both supports go down, even bottom as well, apparently. Duracho trying to be able to feast back onto the life of jabs. He should be able to get the kill, but they feel strong enough to at least find the trade with the spells back up on JT. Needs to land the Star Breaker. I don't know what happened there, but oops.
Yeah, a little bit of an oopsie. Maybe figured Duracho would try to walk forward or getting a release on like a quick cast or something. Does miss the mark, and Duracho will just happily regen back up. 3 flesh heap stacks already. A very fat Pudge early on in the game. 1.2k HP at 3 minutes in Ares. That seems all right to me. You also get a bonus stack coming out there for Sox. I'm not... He already finding himself 2 permanent Agi, trading nicely to force Ollie away. And yeah, I mean, you have the infinite scaling draft here on the side of Tundra. Pudge will scale up passively. Eventually, the Slark will be active enough to get some permanent Agi himself. This lane is feeling pretty awful. 4-4-2-3, I mean, he's finding farm, but you're really not going to be able to trade because of that buff to necrotic webs. You're already down to 30% regen reduction. It's not going to be safe for you to just sit back and just try to poke and prod and win out in HP that way. At least the mid lane for Orbit, again, is becoming an overwhelming lane here for the Ember Spirit. it's just old matchups again as JT's starting to drop low.
But he is, and he's going to be forced away, which does mean Jabs is quite vulnerable. Ratro's up to a killing spree here for the Pudge. A lot of stats early on in a lane that...
This is a good opportunity to learn.
I don't know if they're going to be able to continue just running headfirst into the Pudge.
Yeah, it's not feasible at that point, especially as Ratro has level 2 rot, 40% max attack damage gain. He hits for like 140 when you do commit onto him. It's not pleasant with rot damage coming in still, with having just meat shield level 1 enough to block some of the trades back. It's a nasty time for the side of Mudang Warriors, but a very smooth time outside of mid here for the side of Tundra 6-2, as we are in the 4.5 minute mark. Still a lot of pressure up top here though.
Well, he's got the dive. Go back towards the tower. He's okay, but yeah, like you said, there's an immense amount of pressure that they're putting in on the safe lane. And who knows what could happen with some of the rotations. Bottom. Looks like the attempt from Moodeng is going to be to get onto Whitemon, but it does mean that the Racho started to get the rot damage going. And that'll be enough for the kill onto JT. Racho feels strong enough to be able to bite back into Jabs, but Jabs, he's got a big wand, which is going to make it quite difficult for Duracho to be able to win out on the 1v1. He's hoping that maybe he can turn up the hook back up. Jabs is chasing pretty far. Jabs. Oh. I mean, just no way. Whitemon back alive. Flesh Heap there as well. Duracho is 5-0-2, not respecting the Pudge.
No. I mean, and this here is just dumb. 160 right-click damage when you're trading there on that rot this time around. You don't want to mess with him, man. And you're double melee into the Pudge. You can't really do much about that matchup. You might have to start at least thinking about the 6-minute rune, which they will. Sending Jabs down all over. You do not want to give these away to BZM. If he doesn't manage to get rune control, again, having with that power capture start to scale up as they will chomp.
Alright, BZM. Nice big kill. Meanwhile, bottom as well. Looks like Sarks is fine there. I'll try to run JT down. Duracho unfortunately missed the hook. We'll try and do his best. JT's got the hammer to get some separation. This is a really long chase. Duracho is wasting quite some time.
He is, but he can kind of afford to. He's heading into level 6 already. He's got a huge lead in comparison to this Dawnbreaker. And he can afford to kind of step away from that lane every now and again. It's perfectly fine. They are emphasizing mid. They found the weakness here on Mudang. They know BZM's not having a good game whatsoever, so they'll keep pressuring on this pain point.
They will punish it for a second time. BZM's Arc Warden. Well, have Starkson now coming forward, thinking that he's going to be able to kill off Jabs, even a Broodmother, considering about helping out, but not really able to do too much. Jabs will go down. I thought with the webs, he was actually starting to run over on the Brood, hence why I highlighted it, but no, he was not.
Still focusing on that top lane. And you are finding some punishment out, but I think you're actually in a fine game state here for the side of Tundra still. You've won much harder on your Pudge than you're losing out on your Arc Warden. Like, even with all of these deaths on BZM, he's still ahead of JT in form. So, this offlane Dawnbreaker is just not having to start at once. We know how well an Arc Warden can recover anyhow, once some initial resources are handed over. So, all you kind of need to do is ride through this rough spot, allow Duracho and 33 to kind of dictate the pace for this game as it starts to build in and just cop the short end of the stick. We'll try for another smoke here on Mudang Warriors. Looking like they want to make a move down bot, but that gate movement's already coming into top lane here for the side of Tundra.
Not even necessary. Well, 2-3 being left alone. Well, 33 is able to get the kill. The ultimate now to start to control this area. And who plays top? I mean, JT, I suppose, but JT has had such a poor game that it doesn't seem like the Dawnbreaker can be there. The Ember, I mean, maybe you can put Arbed top, but then one of the supports can occupy mid, I suppose, to get a little bit of experience. But it seems like it's probably going to be quite difficult for Moodeng to look to play the map over the next couple of minutes now with how good of a start that 33's had.
Yeah, I mean, that's that early power spike for the Broodmother. Already having Spiderling stuff, we're just going to be able to camp a lane. No big AoE clear outside of Abed, but even then he's not at that point where you can slay these Spiderlings just yet. You get the rotation back in, and Duracho just takes a watcher in their faces here.
He does, and he's going to be punished for it. Dismember is not going to do enough for Duracho. It does bring them down relatively low, but no one else from Tundra felt brave enough to be able to go for this. Looks like Tempest Double is going to be killed. Yes, it will. Last second, Abed gets a nice chunk of change.
Toxic.
Have to use the ulti. So the last second, they're going to still be able to hold him down. So Moodeng gets some massive kills down bottom. Saxa will really make him work for it. Right? Hook? No, not going to use it. Duracho wants a kill instead. We saw how difficult it was for them to bring him down previously. No way to cancel with a dismember. Duracho is going to reign supreme off the back of the TP back in.
Pretty big kills for the side of Mudang to find. I mean, considering how far behind you are on some of these heroes, you take what you can get. I want to point out, Jabs did dispose, leading to that longer chase on Soxa than you'd like, leading into that respawn timing for Duracho to line up into the TP, off of one small misplay, because the Starbreaker would have landed. Maybe they were worried of like a leap away, but it does cost them time, and that's time that Tundra gets for the punishment. Still focusing on BZM.
And the Tempest Double. Well, he's potentially second guessing this Arc Warden pick. And while we have some time, John, do we want to speak about the facets from Arc? I have absolutely no idea which one to go for.
Yeah, so Power Capture is the one that lets you really scale if you have complete rune control. It only counts power runes, no bounties. Shrine of Wisdom doesn't count, really just power, not even water runes. So it can kick in a little bit late. The other one is kind of interesting because of just what utility you can get on your Tempest Double. Right, having Invis on hand, having Haste on hand is pretty big for you to do some stuff with a Tempest Double. However, they've also changed the Tempest Double to slowly start to lose its mind as the duration fades. So it starts to miss some hits, starts to not do as much, and that kind of balances out that facet. I'm not sure. I do feel like Power Capture is probably the better one, but if you're an active Arc Warden player, then that facet does work. Question still.
Duracho feasting across the map. 33 almost able to kill off JT as well. At least will force him back to base, which puts the Dawnbreaker away from occupying the Baru lane.
I love this from Duracho. He went Mask of Madness.
That's very
Just
cool.
brought Mask of Madness. And again, his right click damage is stupid. Like, there's no way Pudge should have this much right click damage. It's insane. It's insanely fun. Again, like, this for me is just nostalgic vibes of Dota. All I lack is an option to self-deny his Pudge, please. Please,
where's the nostalgia of this Pudge build? What am I missing?
No. It's not nostalgia of the Pudge build. It's just the nostalgia of how broken stuff can be.
Oh, okay,
You know?
okay, I see. So.
You know, like older 2016, 2015, maybe even earlier era of Dota where it's a little bit less balanced, a little bit more leaning into one direction with what you have to play, right? Like, that's the vibe of this patch. I love it.
Yep.
Ice Frog's definitely back in the picture. Because where else would you see like Mask of Madness Pudge?
Yeah, it's very interesting. It's cool also that we're getting the different item build again, like Pure just played previously where he went kind of your more standard, the Boots, Interceptor, and Sanjin Yasha. Sanjin Yasha definitely maybe a little bit more interesting than last time we saw, but on the Pudge carry, but of course the Sanjin Yasha wasn't very broken then. And then, Duracho is cooking up this particular item build, so wonder what he does go for next. They are looking to try and smoke and invade into the jungle, and JT is the one that is home. Saxa tries to line up the pounce, but unable to do so. Man, I cannot tell what is a cliff and what isn't. It's so difficult.
It's kind of hard, especially with the webs on. I think the webs are just making it worse. There's a lot of grounds relatively flat. Saxa could be flattened.
It could, but he also has some reinforcements. Gonna jump a supernova, which is a pretty good spot, but maybe not. But Duracho's Master
Oh my
Madness.
lord.
You never would expect a Pudge to do it. It's muscle memory almost that this hero doesn't right-click eggs, but what do you know? It is a different patch. It's a different day. It's a Mask of Madness Pudge.
And it already comes into play right there. Just that extra bit of attack speed, so much commitment out from Mudang Warriors to find that kill on Stocks, and eventually they do find it, but it's not the kill you want at this point. Like, this Slark is really just not the priority. You need to find that punishment onto the Roger. You need to be able to try to isolate 33. None of your heroes are set for that. Like, you're still working into the Orchid here for 4-2-3. Only the recipe away, so not too far off. You can start to play off of that, but you're losing so much ground. It doesn't feel like you have safe targets to really shadow step into. And just kind of look for that simple pick-off. They snag away the Shrine of Wisdom as well. The Roger gets a little bit more of a bonus. He does go for the Glimmer Cape, and he's going for a Harpoon. So we're going to get the double hook Pudge. I love seeing that.
Go for it. Hook the Roger. Oh, let's just run him down, I suppose. You've already used Dive. Very good. Very good, Duracio.
Oh, my lord.
This is
double damage. Oh, my. Ugh.
Just to keep it, that's the second Wisdom they stole as well. They stole the first one too. So 5k lead, experience favoring them. We got Tormentor up as well, which they should be able to go back and take. Oh, up soon, I should say. From the mid lane, Saxo. Comes Duracio, apparently everywhere. 9-1 and 4. 13 out of the 16 kills. Looking to add some more. I don't know what his neutral item does, but apparently whip jabs in the back. It's not the bull whip, but it'll help out hooking.
A little bit of extra damage when you're right-clicking away. That Ripper's Leash. Bonus damage in the radius. Yeah, I guess it's like a debuff. And you get bonus damage applied onto you. So it's kind of cool, and you are a right-click Pudge. So it does make sense. It does. The animation is a little bit too close to the whip, I would say. But I guess you can't have everything. At least there is a little bit of a green tinge to it, as they will start to line up. For this blue tinge Tormentor, Mudang Warriors cannot hope to contest this. And they will just take it for free on the side of Tundra. No one dies in the Tormentor, and no one hangs around in the... Okay, Whitemon goes back to regen up. Very nice. Very smart. And they'll go for the gate again. If they find 4-2-3 one more time, I mean, this guy has just not had a game in 2 games, as the Roger will go on the hunt. Or just farm. Fair enough. How much? Look at his damage here. He's double,
I know.
more than double damage with his facet. And he takes no damage from Rot anyhow with Glimmer Cape. Glimmer.
Does he die this game with the Slark shot that they just got as well from the Tormy? Like,
probably not.
Shot to get 33. Yeah. Apparently stuck. Got to run away by the looks of it. I bet they're gonna try and play off the back of the chains. They will use everything they can. The arsenal, it will dump it all, and it's not a bad one.
It's a big one. 1k gold swing coming out for Mudang. That's the kind of core kill they've been looking for, and that's the one we've been asking for here. Might be even to isolate away the Racho.
Do they kill him? We're gonna find out how strong this hero is. Wymon's gonna do his best. Supernova's in a good location. Pudge wasn't able to turn to kill it off, and now Whitemon's going to be chased down as well as Moodeng Warriors. They've got some fight still left in them.
They do. All they have to do is kind of group up as 5. And this time, Tundra is getting just a little bit overconfident with how strong they are. Like, they don't have that Slark around with the Depth Shroud save. They don't have... they didn't have Tier 33 because he just dies bot. So you don't have that pesky Broodmother kind of cops some damage for you as well in the Pudge. And that equalizes the game to an extent. Mudang Warriors are still 3k behind, but in comparison to 5-6k a while ago, this is a much more playable game state. Mind you, you still have a lot of catching up to do on 4-2-3 and on JT. So you still have to kind of wait that one out. But Abed's just been kind of dictating this game nicely for the side of Mudang Warriors to still feel playable. Right, like they're still in it, 17-15. If they equalize down, if they still force Tundra to play overconfident, they start to open up.
Hang on, Duracio, we going back-to-back feeds? Gen's gonna be behind him. Duracio turns for the hook, it's gonna be off the mark. So cool, the new jump.
Yeah, it's like a super disposed to save. It's a little bit of a funny one to watch. How would Marcy jump and carry someone with her after she jumps off of them?
She's a big girl. She's strong.
That she is.
Nice hook. Duracio. Great timing. As soon as the neutral creep dies, fish for 423. Meanwhile, over to the right side, 33. Okay, well, he is... Oh, what's the brother up to? He's on an island. High ground ward. Quick Mudang able to protect their triangle. I think it's still a triangle. Yep, they didn't really change his area. Pseudo triangle. Duracho.
Pseudo triangle. Oh.
Run into jabs as well. Next to tier 2 tower, Duracho. So it starts to coming over the depth strat if they're going to need it. There's a little bit of hesitant though. Tundra will respect how deep they are into Mudang's territory. It's going to be able to get the dismember off for the last second. JT protected with a strip it over to the right side. They're not going to be able to turn to deal with the egg. And they are forced to retreat away. And that's where Mudang are able to pounce. If they got some stuns there, they do.
Oh my
to the
God.
last second. Stops him at the buzzer. Mudang, they've clawed their way back. It's only a 2,000 net worth lead now.
They've equalized for the most part. Like this discrepancy for JT and 423, it's not as wide as it was. From 700 behind now on that spec. You've got the Orchid, you're going into the Manta. You're a lot more protected here for 423. The one benefit for Tundra is that BZM's not really looking for any engagement. So you are getting a free ride for your Warden. He hasn't really had any out control, but he hasn't really played along with any part of this battle yet. Okay. That punishment.
Okay, well, down goes Abed. I believe we're always been getting more kills across the map. BZM is also trying to make some crazy stuff happen up top. 423's gonna die to the Tempest. Double, one more. Oh, we got him. Oh, BZM, are you serious? Triple kill the ward to scout him out on the escape, and he did it. 1v3, I think, or 1v4, whatever it was. BZM, like, what?
Yeah, this Arc Warden was left in an island by itself. Managed to form back into relevancy. Has that Mjolnir. Again, Arc Warden's basically back to his old self. That experiment with Zet is gone. And he hits like a truck if you're not careful. They'll be able to clean up Roshan off the back of all of these kills as well. Gonna find it nice and simple here for the side of Tundra. And we'll have that secondary life to back them up now. Probably just hand it over to Duracho or 33. Either one kind of makes sense. And Mudang cannot contest. After a lot of back and forth, I mean, all those kills for BZM, game evens out once more. And this is concerning. You had a nice chance on the side of Mudang. They did stream in one by one to BZM, to be fair. They were kind of streaming in. They weren't moving as a unit. So basically, it's just nice, steady cleanups for BZM. And that's going to get worse as this Orchid starts to approach completion. Timing shouldn't be too far off for the Arc Warden. 6k lead returning for the side of Tundra. I'm looking forward to Duracho finishing up his harpoon so I can see 2 hooks fly out. That's going to be fun.
But what's going on with the Wisdoms, Ben? New patch? Timings haven't changed? They lost another one on Moodeng.
Yeah, it feels like they've been really focused on trying to be aggressive. Like, they're under pressure to play fast, which I don't think is really necessary for the side of Mudang. You can try to bank on your Spectre. It isn't an easy game to try to just scale up as a Spectre here, but you aren't necessarily playing on a timer either on the side of Mudang Warriors, but that does mean that they are letting go of all of these resources. They're not really focused on them. Heck, they haven't been able to contest anything like Tormentor. Roshan's been given away for free twice over now, and that is kind of stacking back into this lead of Tundra, and they're just which is starting to feel fairly overwhelming. You have the full Ags for Abed, with old Ember being back. He has a lot of maneuverability to play with. It's gonna be a lot hard to pull down still.
Socks are such a hard kill.
The Glimmer Cape. You can just bail out. What an item. Smoke.
They're going to be able to get Jabs, who's trying to farm the last little bit of gold he needs towards the BKB. Get out. Very interesting. Special delivery.
Yeah.
Kind of cool.
It's an interesting one. Would it not be possible to... If you're Marcy's support, would it not be possible to drag your items into the Marcy courier, and then, or drop them in the ground, have the Marcy courier pick them up, special delivery them to Marcy, and just get instant delivery that way. Isn't that somewhat of a play? Could be a factor, I guess. That'd be one way.
They are sticking around for a long time, Moodeng up top. Unfortunately, JT didn't get the memo that he needed to TP out. We're trying solid guarding, but
my.
far out. It's just everywhere. Throughout your Pudge show. And Saxa yoins to kill.
Just like that. 17 stacks of a flesh heap, 28 bonus strength, 2.9k HP. Harpoons up. This is it's a little bit of a toughie for Mudang when they don't play as 5. They have to be really smart with how they split up. It didn't feel like they were even really farming that area all too well outside of just shoving a wave here. On side of Mudang, they really need to get every scrap they can find because it really is slipping away. 24 to 20, 12k up on Tundra. BKB up and running on 33, pinning down this Broodmother. Probably impossible at this point, but a full Bloodtorn on top as well to back up this damage. With a Rend. The Warriors, I mean, Mantis still slowly being farmed up by 423. And you have the slowest Sleight of Fist coming out here in the world from Abed, because you are trying to fist down a lot of spiders. But you have to play where you found success. You can't taking the 5v5 would work, but
whoa, so scary Pudge, dude. I really want to try and force this fight. Saxa can always play around with the depth shroud. Now Darachu's going to turn as well. Dismember, no count. Darachu actually doesn't get a kill in. He's got the Aegis over the backline 4-2-3, able to deal with the Spark. Supernova's at a pretty good timing as well. Stops the BKB charge in from 33, but it looks like the raw net worth lead is just going to overwhelm Moodeng inside their base. Abed's trying to do whatever he can. The Ember will have a free fight, cleans up one, Remnants over the top as well. Is going to be able to catch up to 33, and BCM doesn't have what it takes this time to be able to 1v4, so he will have to TP up, but not a bad fight in the end for the boys on Moodeng.
And again, they're finding ways to break these fights up into pretty much one focused front. Like, they're taking one hero down at a time, they kite out the rest, they try to dance back. No one managing to hit the egg is a pretty big deal, as again, that secondary, the pop on the respawn from Aegis lines up for their kill. And for the side of Tundra, they can't allow themselves to be kited around like that, right? Like, they're sieging up, they're not fully committed, or at least they're not close enough to help back up. And it starts to fall apart if this Pudge is left in vacuum. He doesn't have the highest durability yet, it's not with BKB. It'll try to fight back here.
And they have to go back live. Abed down bottom in some trouble. They'll do their best with the Solar Guardians. Going to be able to keep him live through the Orchid. Second round from PCM with the Tempest double. Meanwhile, Daracho threads the needle with the Hawk 4-2-3. Dragged back, sent to the grave. Tundra. All right, well, they will quickly clean up after a bit of a sloppy fight for them inside Moodeng's base. And they've got the Tormentor as well to reap the reward.
Yep. Nice and quick, free shard for Daracho, so Flare's hook, meat hook now there, which is funny, and a bonus on a lower cooldown saving hooks. So this is when it can really get silly. Not that it wasn't silly already. The side of Mudang at least has the presence of mind to TP away as the gate usage is there. 15k lead for Tundra. For the side of Mudang, trying to think of itemization that helps. We're just getting a harpoon on 423. Into his own satanic to try to just bulk up with a glimmer cape as well. Abed off the back of that Ags is just trying to go for the Octarine as they are starting to get poked quite hard by 33, but not hard enough at the very least. Still, oh, Saxa. Detection.
Okay. Saxa will be able to get the Shadow Dance off. He's okay. Jabs is not a detection enjoyer. Forgot that he is a 4 instead of a 3 now.
You know, it happens. It happens. I mean, it's a role he is used to. If you recall all the way back to when Fnatic was on their almost the end of their days, right? Like Jabs went from offlane to 4 and 5 at some point. They were doing some weird fluxes with him and DJ.
Yeah.
And that also looked maybe a little bit like this. Well, I'll be frank. It is somewhat reminiscent of that. Just a tad.
Yeah, but they get the JT Ollie reunion.
That's true. It's been a while for them. Unfortunately, also not quite panning out. But at least they're together. Maybe you could help JT fix his camera, if they could figure that one out. No, they just TP away from the Tempest double. Like, they gotta defend as well.
Tip it away, but into the Brood, and yeah, so Jabs has to BKB, and well, you are losing buildings apparently. It's just a full set that it's like will be protected momentarily. They'll probably just go back in afterwards.
Duracho.
Okay, Duracho just Glimmercape walks up the high ground. Supernova once again is going to be a little bit of a problem for them. Duracho's at a decent health pool. Once the BKB expires, is he going to be vulnerable? Jab sees an opening, go for the Broodmother 33. Playing around with the life steal 33, not dead just yet. Man fighting 4-2-3. He is A-okay. Abed's going to try and do what he can. I mean, he has been the man for them this game, but the remnants aren't enough. The G's are caught and they're actually out of here. So, Moodeng, last game, not enough. Tundra